Today, we're diving into a truly heartbreaking story out of the Bronx. It's about a long simmering dispute between neighbors, something that started over a dog in a hallway that just escalated into an absolute tragedy. It's a case that really makes you wonder how these everyday conflicts can turn so violent so fast. And, right from the start, we have to talk about the human cost of all this. These are the words of Mark Thompson, remembering his daughter, Shashamanie. His words just cut right to the heart of it, capturing that profound emptiness left behind. So, how did this all even begin? It's a story that really highlights how the smallest conflicts can take such a violent and, well, irreversible turn. Okay, so the whole feud kicked off with a pretty common complaint, right? Shashamanie Thompson's dog was supposedly running around loose in the apartment hallway. But here's the really tragic part. According to the reports, Thompson had already found a new home for the dog before this final, fatal fight. The original problem was literally gone, but that bad blood, it was still there. To really understand what happened, we need to take a look at the three people whose lives just tragically collided that night. So on one side, we have Shashamanie Thompson, a 30-year-old mother, and on the other, her upstairs neighbor, 24-year-old Beyonce Johnson, and Johnson's 21-year-old boyfriend, Saleh Cisse. They all lived right there in the same building on Ogden Avenue. Now, the sources do give us a little more context on their histories. Thompson had 3 prior arrests, which included assault and weapon possession. Johnson had 2 priors for criminal contempt. And Saleh Cisse, he had no prior arrests at all. So on Saturday, December 27th, all of these simmering tensions just reached a violent boiling point. The evening actually started with Beyonce Johnson celebrating her 24th birthday. Then, around 10 p.m., she and her boyfriend Cisse ran into Thompson in the building. A fight erupted, and just minutes later, police were called to a scene of just unimaginable violence, finding Thompson with fatal stab wounds. So, what exactly happened in those critical moments? Well, the stories could not be more different. The prosecution says that Cisse held Thompson in a headlock while Johnson stabbed her, but the defense claims Cisse was just trying to break up the fight and that Johnson only acted after Thompson came at her with a bottle. 2 completely different versions of the same few minutes. In all the chaos that followed the attack, some of the most crucial evidence actually came from Shashamanie Thompson herself. A neighbor heard these awful screams for help and rushed out to a horrific scene. They found Thompson bleeding, clutching her stomach, and collapsing against a wall. That neighbor, of course, immediately called 911. And this was a pivotal moment for the case. As she was dying, Thompson gave the police a critical lead. She told them, "The girl in 6D did this." With her last words, she identified Johnson's apartment and her alleged killer. With that one piece of information, police moved in quickly and made arrests. And that's when the accused started giving their own accounts of what happened. According to court documents, Saleh Cisse completely denied he was involved. He told police he was just trying to be a peacemaker, separating the 2 women. He claimed he had no idea his girlfriend even had a knife on her. Johnson's statement, though, was a totally different story. She told police she's bipolar and hadn't taken her medication. Her words, "Is she really gone? Send me to jail. I did something bad." They paint a much more emotional, much more complex picture than Cisse's denial. As a result, both of them are facing incredibly serious charges. Johnson and Cisse have both been charged with murder and manslaughter. Cisse was ordered held without bail, and at the time the sources were published, Johnson's arraignment was still pending. But, beyond the crime scene and the courtrooms, there's a family that has just been shattered forever. 9. That's the age of Shashamanie Thompson's son. He was spending the holidays with his grandparents when his mother was killed. And now, he's left to grow up without her. And this is it's heartbreaking. The day before she died, her son called her just to say, "I love you." Her father remembered her reaction. She thought it was so sweet. That was the last time they ever spoke. It's so important to remember the person behind the headlines. Shashamanie was an immigrant from Jamaica. Her father described her as funny, kind, a great cook, someone who absolutely loved art and dance and music. He put it so beautifully. He called her that special spice, the special ingredient in the pot. And that just leaves us with this final, haunting question. This is a story of a simple dispute that became a fatal confrontation. It's such a stark reminder of how quickly everyday anger can spiral completely out of control, leaving behind nothing but grief and a question that has no easy answer. How does this happen?